never say never, but I will say probably most likely no. Hello, welcome back to my channel, Knits by Mandy. My name's Amanda, and today we have in store the 1,000 subscriber spectacular video extravaganza, ask me anything, knit and chat, chill video. That one that you were all expecting. So yeah, been a minute, haven't filmed in like a hot second, but last week I reached 1,000 subscribers, and both two friendly folks that I follow here on YouTube and Instagram have done like ask me anything videos when they reach 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's really fun and I enjoy those videos. And as a child of the internet, the idea of making one makes me really happy. So Knitted by Whitney, I think, did it first, and then Kendra of the Balanced Skein made it, and I love those videos. So I thought, why not jump on the train and just sit here, answer some questions, and chat with you all. And I just wanted to say thank you for subscribing if you have, and if not, perfect time for you to subscribe and, you know, be clued in to all the knitting content that I post on my channel. Yeah, and I'm just really grateful. At the end of the day, like, I didn't do social media just to get followers or subscribers, but it is really nice to kind of like reach a little benchmark and celebrate those milestones. So life is short, why not celebrate and like acknowledge it, and also show gratitude for all of you for tuning in. So I will say it's kind of an interesting time to be filming because I've been kind of dealing with a on and off headache for the past like 2 weeks or so. I'm not sure the exact cause. I think it might be long COVID related. But anyway, my words like aren't coming super easy to me, but I definitely still want to film. So if it sounds like I'm either like saying things wrong or like just pausing, it's been happening to me for a while. So yeah, I just wanted to like, it's like rainy. My parents were just here for the weekend, they just left, so I'm just kind of like alone in my apartment. I have a little project and I just want to get some rows in and answer your questions and talk with you all, because I really enjoy doing that and it really relaxes me. I know Whitney in her video, she had champagne, but because of my headaches, I'm not drinking alcohol right now. So I opted instead of alcohol to do the Hot Girl trio of drinks. So you have one, it's like one for fun, one for hydration, one for caffeine, except I already had my caffeine today. So I have a sparkling seltzer. Let me put you on. Wegmans has a ginger flavored seltzer, and it's like ginger ale, but it's not too sweet. And if you're someone who is like a not too sweet person, if you know, you know, oh, so good. Drink number one. Sorry if you have misophonia. Drink number two is just some cinnamon cardamom tea my boyfriend's mom gave me, which was very sweet. And then I have just my water bottle. So we love drinks here. Grab 3, 4, 5 drinks in a project and we'll just settle in. Thank you to anyone who indulged me and asked me questions. I think it's really sweet. And I just love the knitting community so much. It just makes me so happy. I like talking about it with like people out in my life that don't knit, and I just like being here. I'm in Knits by Mandy, just happy to be here. That should be the tagline of my social media. So I'm currently knitting, I'm actually wearing a Jessie Maed pattern and then knitting a Jessie Maed pattern. So Jessie Maed Designs, fangirl. This is the very V-neck raglan in Noro Silk Garden Silk Sock Yarn in color S1. And then this is the Ripple, no. What is this pattern called? See, I'm also forgetting like things that I know. You know, like names of things I'm having a really hard time with. my little secret crop. So this is my little secret crop. I'm knitting it in the Madeline Tosh cotton wool that my mom bought me. And I'm really loving how the colors are coming out. So let's just get into it, folks. At 6 minutes, geez Louise. Anyway, so the first question was, do you have any plans to design in the future? And in the immediate future, like next year or so, I don't really have plans to start designing. It's not really something that appeals to me. I am not great at math, and the idea of like jumping into something and having to figure it out on my own also doesn't appeal to me, because I really like the simplicity sometimes of being able to just like buy a pattern and buy a yarn and have an expected outcome. But I will say I have been wanting to do something, kind of like an idea for a video, and I think my wanting to do this for a video outweighs me wanting to make the garment, which I think is like stopping me from doing it, because I really don't want to make something just for content. However, if I do it, it is like a fun idea, and it's something that I really want to do. And that would be like recreating something from like either fast fashion or, you know, a store that I like to shop from, basically copying a design. Would you download a sweater? Would you illegally download a sweater from the internet? Basically. So maybe recreating something. It wouldn't be to make like a pattern to distribute. It would just, if I design something, it would just be for me. But I definitely don't think I know enough about knitting to create like as good as a pattern as I'd want to. And again, I don't really even want to make one. So yeah, I don't think you should expect to see that from me anytime soon. But you never know. Never say never, but I will say probably most likely no. All right, moving on. The next question was, I'm just doing these in order. What's next in your knitting queue? And so I'm working on the little secret crop right now. And then I think next I'll be working on a slip over with the LBA merino single yarn I have. And then next, either the home cardigan or the Ingrid sweater. So I think I might do a video of all my fall patterns that I want to make. I'm very excited about fall and sweater time. It kind of feels funny to be sitting here in a sweater knitting a crop top, but it's fully 70 degrees outside. It's hotter than that. Like, it's not sweater weather yet, but I just wanted to be cozy. So this is my last summer project before getting into fall. So I'm very excited, and we'll probably do a either a fall window shopping video or a fall knitting pattern video. Let me just, this frame is really... Continuity, who is she? I don't know her. Yeah, that's what's next in my queue. And then a few people asked, what's your favorite thing you've ever made? And then someone else asked, what am I most proud of? And I will say, I think my favorite thing is probably this sweater. I wear it all the time. I just like love this Noro yarn. The colors make me really happy. I like how this fits. It just feels so like comfy and lived in. I love how this looks like with these linen pants. Are you dead? I really enjoy that. So that's my favorite. I would say I'm most proud of my sweater number 15, as it's the most technically challenging thing I've made so far, which means I have a lot further to go in honing my technical skills, but I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'm really proud of that, because that was like a slog for sure. And I just think it is the most like store worthy thing that I've made. It looks something like, you know, you would buy in a store, if I do say so myself. So yeah, that would be what I'm most proud of and my most favorite. The next question is, how do you feel about, if they do, family or people from work following and watching you? I'm totally okay with my family and my friends and like friends of friends of, like it's the housewives, a friend of, no, totally okay with that. My family knows about it. My boyfriend like advertises me to everyone he talks to. He's very sweet and supportive that way, so I talk about it like with his friends and his family, and I like that. And the way that I kind of frame it to people that aren't like super familiar with the knitting community, which is everyone, is that it's really like my way to like connect with other knitters. And I think once I frame it that way, they like understand it a little more. So yeah, I feel fine. I do purposely, like, I don't include my full name on my accounts just because I don't want like people from work or whatever just to be able to like Google me and me to come up. And I do that with my personal Instagram as well. I'm not like impossible to find on the internet, but I just, you know, try to keep it not super easy. I do, like, my people at work know that I knit, but I don't really talk about like the social media part because as a rule, I don't really like people following my personal accounts either. I just like keeping work separate from personal. But I know for some people that's different. And like I've had really close work friends in the past and I'm still friends with them, but those were from other jobs. And now that I'm at like a new job, I'm kind of just like, I don't have anyone that I'm really close with that I would want to share my social media with, if that makes sense. But yeah, I work with lovely people. I just, you know, some lines you don't need to cross, you know? So if someone finds it though, I won't be like embarrassed, but I'm not advertising it, is my policy basically. So that is how I feel. I think some people can feel embarrassed about like posting to social media, especially like when you're starting out. Like it's embarrassing to kind of like get on Instagram and make posts as if people are reading them, because at the very beginning, like no one's really reading them. But I don't know, I don't really care. I kind of think of it, oh, my AC's turning on. We can have this. Okay. Where was I? I kind of think of it as, at the end of the day, it's like record keeping for me, you know? It's a journal to see, like, show all the progress I've made in my own knitting and like see all the things I've made over the years. So if people like mind at all, they suck. Like, you don't need them in your life, is my opinion. Because if it's something that makes you happy, it's not harming others, like what is the BFD, you know? So yeah, I think that's how I kind of approach it and handle it. I like to have a little bit of privacy on Al Gore's internet. So yeah, okay. So the next question is, what is your white whale in crafting? Which I love this question. I think it's really funny. Honestly, and this is almost embarrassing to admit, but sewn bind-offs. Because it's something that shouldn't be that technically challenging, but for some reason I always mess up. And there's a host of other technical skills that I haven't really tried my hand at yet. That's kind of what I want to do the Ingrid sweater this fall, because it has like a chart and I haven't really done that. So I want to challenge myself a little bit. So I don't have that many white whales, so I would say sewn bind off, because it's kind of embarrassing how not proficient I am at them at this point. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. But one day I'll figure it out and I'll feel really good and happy about it, right? That's how that works. Okay. Next question. And I really like this question. What fuels your desire to craft and what gets you excited to create? So I was thinking about this question because I really liked it. And I think a lot of things. I think, of course, like finishing objects excites me, but I think for a lot of us that's the case. But to get a little deeper, I remember first starting work after college and being like, wow, as an adult, there are not a lot of creative outputs. And I think growing up, I never thought of myself as a creative person because I wasn't necessarily like artistic in the sense that I was good at like drawing or painting. But looking back, I was always really creative and like making scrapbooks, or I did knit when I was younger, and I really loved music. I used to play piano when I was really young. When I was in high school, I taught myself how to play the ukulele and guitar. And then in college, I had some different creative outlets, especially with like the extracurriculars I did. I was in college radio, and I was also in a sorority, which like half of being in a sorority is arts and crafts and like graphic design. So I got some creative outlets there, and I realized like, wow, in the 9 to 5 world, you don't really have any built-in time for creativity. So I've learned that about myself, that I actually really do crave to have a creative outlet and to create things outside of like my work productivity. Because I'm someone who doesn't really like feel defined by my job or the work that I do. I like to, be a good employee and good enough employee. You know what I mean? I like to like show up to work and do my job, but at the end of the day, I don't want people to be like, you know what, first and foremost, Amanda is a great program manager. Like, that's not necessarily how I'd like to be remembered or known as. And I think that's perfectly healthy and fine. So I really crave that outlet. And then what was the other part of the question? What gets me excited to create is being able to have a finished object. Like being able to just wear finished projects makes me so happy. And the other thing is when someone says, wow, I love your sweater, it's so cute, and I get to say thank you, I made it. That also fuels me a lot. So yeah, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. I don't know about you guys, but that's like 30% of it. But yeah, I think that's what keeps me going. I have like an innate desire to be creative, and I found that knitting is a really great outlet, and that I like knitting specifically because it's a really great marriage of technical skills and creative skills, and that you get to do a little bit of both, right? And you have to think sometimes, but you can also like make things easy so that you don't necessarily have to be doing the most technical piece and like really grinding the gears up in the old noggin all the time. So yeah, that's what I really enjoy about crafting. Can you see, like, it really feels like my mind, the wheels are like turning. Since it is rainy today, like my head's starting to bother me a little, but again, I wanted to sit with you all and chat. And then the next question is, if you could only knit with one color for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I kind of want to be practical and be like beige or like gray. However, I think what I would do if I was only allowed one color is that I would pick my favorite color, which is purple, and then just go like all in life. And you know how you see those people where like they are so committed to their favorite color that everything that they have is that color? I think that's what I would do. And I honestly think that would make me happy. So I would only knit in shades of purple and become a full-blown purple person, like purple couch, purple walls, purple toilet paper, purple trash bin liners, purple everything, like purple dishwasher rack, purple oven mitts. The most mundane thing you could think of, it's purple. I have a purple plunger, you know, like I think that'd be kind of fun. I definitely wouldn't, this is a fake scenario, and I definitely would never do that because I love the variety of color. However, I would put it all on purple. Sometimes I'm like, why do people watch my videos? I'm so crazy. You can't take me anywhere. I'm wild. Just making myself laugh on my own couch alone. Healthy. I think it is healthy. It's really good to be comfortable in your own company, but this is a knitting video. Next question is, what is your least most worn knit and why? So I definitely think the one I'm wearing is one of my most worn. And then I also think that like my least worn is a, there's a few that like I just never wear. And I think the two that come to mind, which is really sad, are my first sweater because it's really like uncomfortable and way too chunky, and also I don't wear my I've never worn my bovine tank that I made and finished this spring because when I blocked it, and this was on me, big idiot moment, I didn't do a test swatch, which I really should have because I had black and white yarn and the black like bled into the white and it doesn't look good. So I've never worn it. And I didn't end up loving the finished object. And I think a lot of it actually has to do with the yarn. So yeah, I never wore my bovine tank, which is really sad because it's so cute. But it is messed up. Cute and messed up. And it's by Mandy. Lots of taglines. Lots of taglines for today's episode. Have you knit any socks? I've shied away from them and I wonder if I'm the only one. I have not, and you are not. I put it on my list this year that I would like to make a pair of socks. It's August, I still have no plans. I feel like it might be a nice December knit to do. But I just don't feel like, I don't feel interested by having a finished object of a sock in general. I like the dogs to air out when I'm home, and they're not super comfortable to wear with shoes. I like have a pair of handmade socks that someone that I was friends with in high school, like her grandma made me, and I still have them. And I actually really do like them, but I'm just not really interested by it. But I definitely want to try it once, and like maybe I'll get the sock bug. So I don't think you're not the only one, but I think the people that like are into socks are like really into socks. That might be an incorrect gauge, but yeah, I'm just not, doesn't light a fire under me or within me, so I haven't gone out of my way to make them. And like I don't even have the supplies to make them. I would have to get either DPNs or the 9-inch circulars, which I love the idea of the little 9-inch circulars. They're so cute. When I was really young and learning how to knit, I tried to make leg warmers with DPNs, and I just remember like really wanting to make leg warmers for some reason, don't know why, and I could just never figure out the DPNs. And this was like when I was in the 5th grade. I'm sure I could figure them out now, but I don't really feel interested to do that yet. So that's where I'm landing now, but maybe one day. I'd probably knit a pair of socks before I designed anything. So there's that. The next question is, how did I learn to knit? And I actually talked about this in one of my first videos. I don't really like that video that much. It's like the knitting vlog. But I learned to knit in a after school program when I was in the 5th grade. And I was very fortunate to go to a school where parents would volunteer to do after school programs and, you know, do like 2 or 3 days a week and teach kids knitting, crochet, arts and crafts. Like I think I did a Tai Chi one, like so sweet and like, again, very fortunate. And I remember that someone's mom came in and I wish like I remembered the name of the girl so I could like look up this mom and message her and be like, you changed my life. But I remember like sitting in my library, and my school library had one of those carpets. It was like a pond. It had little lily pads and frogs on it. And we had plastic straight needles, and she brought around like a catalog and showed us like a printout of yarn that we could get, and we all got like a starting yarn and then something that we were going to make like a finished project with. But unfortunately we met for like a few weeks, and then the mom I think had like a family health thing she had to attend to, so I never really like finished the program. So I learned how to cast on, how to knit, and how to purl, and that was it. Like she didn't even like have time to teach us how to bind off. Which obviously, of course, understand, but it was a little bit stunted, and then I kind of had to, like, the internet was accessible at that time for me, but it wasn't like it is now. And there was probably more out there, like Ravelry was probably a thing, but I was in the 5th grade and I wasn't navigating there. So throughout like middle school and high school, I would like come back to knitting. I knit my family like a lot of scarves. It's funny now that I think about it, I don't even have that many items that I knit for myself from those days. I knit almost everyone a gift. And now I'm like, fuck you, pay me. I'm not knitting anyone shit for shit. I'm so funny. This tea tastes like how Joanne's smells. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's funny because I don't gift knit anymore. But anyway, that's how I learned to knit, from some random lady's mom. None of the women in my family knew how to knit. Both my grandmas knew how to crochet, which I've taught myself from the internet. Thank you, internet. And I'm trying to decide if my ice maker is going crazy. I don't think it is. So yeah, that's how I learned. And winter 2020, I decided to start to make my first garment, and that's when I made my first sweater. And I branched out from making scarves and ear warmers because that's all I've made from then. So it's been a really fun journey since, and I'm so glad I'm here. Yeah, and I wish I could thank that girl's mom. I think I might go home. There's no chance that I would find any info on this, I don't think. I might go like look at my old yearbook and see if I can remember the girl, but I went to a pretty big school, so I don't think I could. But I remember the mom like sitting and she was working on socks, and I thought like DPNs were so cool. And like I was like, wow, I can't wait to be a knitter like her. And I kind of am now. And she bought in like a ball winder one day, and that was really fun. Good times, man. It's so funny how some things can really stick with you from childhood. So one day, if I have children, I'd love to pass it down. Okay, I'm starting to lose steam a little, but I want to finish all the questions. Someone asked tips for just starting out making videos. Congrats on 1K. I love your videos, which is very sweet. Thank you. And as far as like technology, I have a very simple setup. I use my iPhone XR. I airdrop my videos to my MacBook, and then I edit everything in iMovie on my computer. And then if I want to get really fancy, I'll use Canva to like put in different fonts that iMovie doesn't have. But I keep things pretty simple because I'm not a video editor by practice, but I have learned some video editing tricks, excuse me, along the way. And now, like, once you kind of get into it, video editing used to take me a long time, but now I can usually like have it down to a pretty easy system. And there's also a lot more helpful videos from way more seasoned YouTubers about how they approach video editing. Katie Yu has a really good video on it that I'll link because I'm not really that gal. But as far as just like posting in a way that's sustainable, I think that's super important. I talked about this in my last video, or my social media video, but only do something in your free time if it's gonna make you happy. Like, don't feel pressured to post things just for engagement. Like, I find it much more rewarding to post whatever I want to and put things out there that I'm proud of, and not just like create things for the sake of creating them, because at the end of the day, this is not the only thing that I do, and like I have 1,000 other things that I could be doing, and I want to make something because I want to make it, not because I feel like people say that you should post on YouTube once a week, you know? Even though posting on YouTube once a week probably will help you grow your channel quicker. Figure out what your goals are and then set yourself up to meet them. That's so lame. But I think you get what I'm saying. Like, if your goal is growth, then like, yeah, really be dedicated to posting all the time. My goal is like connecting with people and also being sane. So I post whenever I want to and try to keep things as loosey-goosey as possible. Last thing, thumbnails I think are really important. I'm still figuring out how to make good thumbnails. Yeah, so have fun. Don't stress yourself out. It's not that deep. And put a little time in your thumbnails is what I would say. But yeah, those are my tips for starting out. Good luck. And I feel like the knitting community is such a fun place to be making videos in the first place. And then I actually think we're almost at the end. Someone asked, who's my favorite knitwear designer? And I am, like I said, working on a Jessie Maed pattern and wearing one. I would say Jessie Maed was someone who I found like pretty early on in my garment making journey, and I really appreciate her patterns because I feel like they're very thorough. They're beginner friendly, and that they like go into detail describing maybe tricky parts or give you room to modify things. So I really appreciate that, and she's one of my faves. At first, I didn't think I really liked petite knit. Like, this was like way back, but like I actually think I really love petite knit. So there's that. That's so basic. I'm trying to think of any others that come to mind. Head empty. I love, and I've never actually made a pattern by Laura from Penrose Knits, but I love her designs, and I love like watching her podcasts and like hearing her approach to making things, and she makes things very size inclusive, which I really appreciate. And she just overall seems like a very lovely person. I think I would want to make the chunky souffle. I think I talked about the souffle tee like in the spring, and I never ended up making it, but I think the chunky souffle would fit my style a little bit more. So yeah, I would say, although I've not made anything by her, I've only heard really great things about her patterns, and I am really looking forward to adding some to my queue. So, and the last question is, what's my favorite season? Which, it changes. I used to really love summer. Summer can sometimes be a bit of a bummer, I feel like. And especially in Washington, D.C., it's very, very hot. I'm gonna say I really love fall. So basic, but like as a knitter, like you kind of have to love fall. And then followed by, I love spring. I actually might like spring more than fall because there's something like so exciting about the world coming back to life and like the theme of like rebirth and like rainy afternoons and flowers. It's just like fall, both fall and spring just feel like such a sigh of relief after either a harsh winter or a harsh summer. So yeah, I definitely think, however, I really like making summer knits, but I think that's only because I can knit them up really quickly, and I don't have to knit sleeves. So yeah, well, I think that's the end of the video. No more questions. Thank you to everyone that submitted and has made it this far. I really appreciate your involvement in my channel, whether it is big or small. And I'm excited to continue making more content for you all. I will continue to be here posting however much I like to. Yeah, so thank you again for 1K. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to take a little moment to celebrate it because we can all, you know, celebrate ourselves a little bit more. And I hope you all have a lovely week if I post this on Sunday. If not, have a lovely whatever day in the rest of the month you're watching this. So I'll see y'all soon. Bye.